Alrighty. It's Saturday night. Out of my mind on Saturday night, 1970. It's the Stooges for you. I'm back. My life update, I guess. My last episode, I was discussing that I had quit social media apps. I recorded that like 11 days ago, I think. And I'm happy to say that I'm still off social media. I never reinstalled the apps, so they never got to spy on me again. I have once or twice gone on to my browser, signed into Facebook and Instagram, but there's something in my survival instinct or whatever. Maybe it's PTSD, I don't know. It's manifested in my mouth. Like a raw feeling in my mouth where I grind my teeth. And the 2 times I did it, it was like that for the whole rest of the day. Going on the social media gave me some kind of weird mouth clenching. And I didn't like how that felt. That did not feel good. So I haven't gone back on again. But, you know, it's like any addiction. Like you're drawn back into it. And I was a few times, but luckily it's just too damaging to stick. I'm really done. I'm here to tell everyone watching that is still addicted to social media. There's a whole world out there of entertainment and things to watch on streaming services, and go to the library and get DVDs, YouTube, you can listen to podcasts. The world has changed. Never get bored. Never run out of stuff to watch or listen to, or video games to play. But in order to enter this world and realize it's there, you're going to have to put your phone down, because the phone drowns all that out. Svengoolie was on tonight. The Horror of Dracula, Hammer film, Christopher Lee and Grand Moff Tarkin. Used to be, when Svengoolie was on, I would just look at my phone the whole fucking time, have it on kind of in the background, because it gives me like a comforting feeling. And I'd only put my phone down when like Gwen Gully was on. I have to see Gwen Gully clips. But I watched the whole movie tonight, and I didn't watch it last week because it was Werewolf of London, and I've seen that movie too many times. I've seen Horror of Dracula before, but I love Hammer films. And it's just so great to just sit there and watch the movie. Actually watching movies truly is a lost art form. Actually experiencing anything in life is truly a lost art form. I don't think people really know how much this phone obsession gets in the way of conversations with people you care about, just realizing you're in a world. You're in the world. You're not you don't have your face in a phone. I guess I sound like an old person saying all this. Oh, put your phone down. But I know plenty of old people that are more addicted to their phones than even young people. Because old people still go on Facebook, young people don't. I still go on YouTube. I go on YouTube Shorts if I just have to doom scroll. Just the muscle memory or the habit of doom scrolling. Going on YouTube Shorts satiates that need. It's the same thing as TikTok. It's all the same videos that are on TikTok. They're just trying to make their own TikTok. I trust YouTube, even though I shouldn't. It's Google, but it's a safe space for me, and it doesn't give me weird mouth spasms. Yeah, I'm able to clear my mind and think. I'm getting interests in things again. I don't have the emotional roller coaster of the current outrage of the day. In my last video, I was talking about the Sydney Sweeney jeans ad, and I waited to post that video until 10 days after I filmed it, and I was like, wow, that's really, really old news. Seems like a decade ago that people were talking about that. But that's how quickly the latest outrage of the day is the cycle it goes through of tearing people down from their high horse. I guess the last outrage of the day I saw also was people saying Pedro Pascal was a creep for holding hands with a pregnant woman, even though he's obviously a gay man. Obviously, he said his number one crushes as a kid were Marlon Brando and Harrison Ford. He comes from Chile. People in Chile are Catholic, and they don't have the Protestant no-touch ethic that we have here in the United States, where touching anyone is dirty. I mean, I'm not immune to that. I think the same thing. I don't touch people. But if someone from a different culture is holding hands with a pregnant woman, and he's gay, I'm not going to judge him and try to cancel him. But I think people have Pedro Pascal fatigue. Here I am talking about an old news story. I don't even know what's going on with today. But yeah, it's just it feels good, and I remembered when I before social media, I would find interests in things, and we're gonna move on to the next game. We'll talk about what I've been interested in lately. Okay, this is supposedly a River City Ransom game. I didn't even know River City Ransom games existed on the Super Nintendo, but I guess this is the Super Famicom. It never came out on the Super Nintendo, so let's see what this is all about. Yeah, what have I been interested in lately? Right now, I am hyper fixated. What the hell? How do I? Okay. What the fuck? How am I supposed to play River City Ransom if I can't read? Will I make it through this? I'm pressing every button. Okay, there's one other River City Ransom Super Famicom game. I'm gonna try see if I can figure that one out. All right, this is the other River City Ransom Super Famicom game. I'm not gonna start talking about my latest interests until I can actually start the game, though. Okay, let's see if we can start this up. Okay, I can't read that, but it says normal. Okay, maybe that means normal difficulty. Okay, I think we're actually in the game now. Okay, what have I been interested in since I put my phone down? I am hyper fixated with a podcast called Talk Scary to Me. It has Danielle Harris, who was in um, Halloween 4 and 5, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, The Last Boy Scout, Marked for Death with Steven Seagal, the Rob Zombie Halloween. People say she's the modern Scream Queen. Hatchet 2 and 3. And it has Scout Taylor Compton, who played Laurie Strode in the new in the Rob Zombie Halloween, not the new Halloween. I like the Rob Zombie Halloween. I rented the. I guess what got me started was I rented the unrated director's cut from the library on DVD, and I actually ended up buying it on Blu-ray, and it has a 4.5 hour long second disc documentary on the making of it. I've made it through an hour and a half so far. But for a lot of horror fans out there, Danielle Harris and Scout Taylor Compton are it's like Beatlemania for them. People are drawn in, obsessed. I know Danielle Harris has a problem with stalkers, but they're quite the phenomenon, I'm learning. And I get it. I subscribe to the Patreon for $5 so I can watch the videos of the podcast instead of just listening to it. And I like their whole vibe. They talk real. They talk frank. They're not allowed to or they're not afraid to say it how it is. And in a weird way, it's helping me accept myself too. I think Danielle Harris probably has a personality disorder, just like me. But they go to a lot of conventions, and that's how they make money, is autographs and signing pictures of movie posters and taking pictures with creeps and horror nerds and stuff. And they do panels where they talk in front of an audience at the conventions. And I noticed that most of they call them moderators of the little speeches and they make, um, they're usually men. They kind of direct the conversation, and it is impossible for these nerdy men to not creep on them. They just can't help themselves. They have to put in a little comment, and and just overall have a creepy vibe. And I get it, because it's like a Beatlemania. And I noticed on a channel, I think it was called Death Curse. They had they had one of these panels, and it was hosted by a woman, and the conversation flowed much better, much better. I wasn't distracted by the creepiness of the men, and I left a comment on the video. I said, you know, I've watched a lot of these panels, and it's quite refreshing to have a woman moderator, because I can actually pay attention in the conversation flows and everything, and they responded back. Well, I can see where you're coming from, but we've our channel, I guess they have a podcast or something, has done panels with them ourselves, and we don't think we're creepy. So I said, I'm not really familiar with your channel. I just came across it, but I'll check it out. I'll see one of your panels, and I'll come back and let you know what I think. And I mean, right away, these guys were like creepier than anyone that moderating these panels. First of all, they had their chairs. It was just Danielle Harris, and they had their chairs sitting next to her, really close. And she was like sandwiched in between them, and they only had one microphone, and they were passing it back and forth in front of her. One of them like bowed down and started bowing to her at the beginning, like worshiping her, and they had little comments like, "Oh, who is this? Is your first childhood crush, everyone?" and stuff like that, and just staring at her. And one of the guys was more of, he wasn't too mannish, wasn't too like a masculine, creepy energy. He was more of a subdued nerd type energy. But he was the one that was just staring at her. Just, I really think it is impossible, physically impossible, for a male moderator to not come off as creepy and ruin the whole panel. And I mean, I'm not in any way saying that I wouldn't be creepy around them either. Actually, I wouldn't be, because I wouldn't be around them. I wouldn't put myself in the position that I'd be talking to them. I'm not going to go to a convention and meet them. I'm not going to go to a convention and meet anyone. I'd like to meet Linnea Quigley, but she's in her 60s, and for some reason I feel like I wouldn't be as threatening of an aura meeting an old lady, even though she's still beautiful. But I mean, I avoid hot chicks altogether. I saw some hot chicks at CVS the other day, and they were speaking Spanish, and I didn't even look at them. I could tell out of my peripheral vision. I almost said perverted vision. Peripheral vision that they were hot chicks, and I ran away. I got the hell away from there, because I didn't want any drama. But of course, they left CVS right after me, And I know they were talking about me in Spanish and laughing at me. And then I went to my scooter and unlocked it. And one of them called me pobre, which in Spanish, I don't know if you know this or not. I'm sure you took Spanish in high school. It means poor. So she was saying I was poor for riding a scooter. And that's not even true. I have a car, or I have an SUV parked inside of my house. I don't want to be in contact with the police. I've been pulled over enough times where I'm never going to drive again because I hate the police. See these police? I'm beating them up right here on the right here in this River City Ransom. I feel the same way this River City Ransom guy feels. I hate the police, and I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not afraid to be controversial. I keep my opinions to myself most of the time, but I do not like the police. I avoid them like the plague because they kill mentally ill people, and they want to kill me, and they hate me, so I hate them right back. And they fucked with me since I was in the 6th grade, and I just got to go to another game because I'm getting too worked up right here. Well, I'll go back to my subject I was speaking of before. Let me give a little wisdom to you. If you're a creepy, nerdy dude with no money and nothing going on like me, your life will be a lot easier if you realize, if you care about respecting women, which most people don't. They're a marginalized subgroup of society. But if you really, let's say you're a quote unquote simp, as people call it. I hate that word. But if you have absolutely nothing to contribute to a woman's life, just leave them alone. Don't talk to them. They're not interested in what you have to say. And you know, as the old saying goes, a lot of my best friends are women. But I met them years ago, and some of them, I dare say, are hot chicks. But I know not to creep on them because they're they deserve respect. Yeah, I like being in the friend zone, especially with women that could be described as a hoe. I like hoes because, you know, deep down in my heart, I'm a hoe. I can't control my sexuality any more than a gay person can stop being gay. So, but that doesn't mean I act on it. But I was looking back on a video I was in the Planet X Fest 2006, and I was looking at all the girls in it, and I was like, I made out with that girl, I made out with that girl, I made out with that girl, I made out with that girl. And there was one girl that was emotionally unavailable that I was pursuing for a relationship. But she was a hoe, and I don't hate her because I realized at that time in my life I was a hoe too. When you have a discouraged, high-functioning personality disorder, the darkness inside of you is so dark that even you don't want to know your true self. No one knows the true me. I'm wearing a mask every second of my life as Mr. Nice Guy. I'm super nice to everyone I meet in society. Um, no one could ever know what lies deep inside of me, because I don't even. I like to block it out, even to my own self. Um, but if I end up in a relationship with a woman, which I've avoided for 10 years, she will eventually get to know the real me, and that's an ugly thing. That's why I avoid them. Um, I don't want to see the real me myself, and I don't want anyone else seeing the real me. Um, Probably the only people that know the real me are my mom and my sister, because they're family and they accept me for who I am, and because they're my family. But blood is thicker than water, and I just prefer to be a chameleon. People that fuck with me don't even know the real me, because I don't get it twisted. I will find my revenge, but I will do it passive aggressively, anonymously, and clandestinely. But trust me when I say I've ruined many people's lives, because I will become obsessed with getting my revenge. And that even goes with relationships. The thought of being cheated on, if someone cheated on me, which they have, I'll get homicidal ideation. I would never act on that, but I'm a ghoster. That's how I get my revenge. There's been some women who slid in my DMs over the past few years, and if I get a sniff of something fishy going on, that's it. Bye bye. Never talk to you again. I won't delete you as a friend on Facebook, but I will unfollow you, so I never have to see your lying, cheating face again. Um, but yeah, so all the creeps out there, leave Danielle Harris and Scout Taylor Compton alone. Let women be the moderators. You don't have to have your big chance to finally talk to them. They are out there hustling, and I respect their hustle. Most self-promoting celebrities or influencers or whatever are nothing more than beggars and common thieves. But Scout Taylor Compton and Danielle Harris, their self-promotion and ambition and trying to grab a hold of any opportunity they get in the entertainment business. It's almost heroic. They're almost like a team of bank robbers. You root for them. You wanna cheer them on for their just unabashedness of making that money. And in order to make that money, they're just dealing with creeps all day, putting their arms around them with horrible BO, and acting like they're special because they know that Danielle Harris was in the last Boy Scout. News alert: if you grew up in the 80s and 90s and you're some lame ass dude, every other lame ass dude that you know and will ever meet has seen the fucking last Boy Scout and knows it's one of the best movies ever made. I've watched so many of these panels, and I can't tell you how many times some creep in the audience brings up the last Boy Scout and thinks they're special. But we'll go on to the next game, and we'll talk about Scout Taylor Compton, because I didn't understand the fervor around her at the beginning, but I'm starting to understand it now. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, Scout Taylor Compton played Laurie Strode in the Rob Zombie 2007 Halloween. I think he purposely chose almost a girl next door type to try to not even be comparable to the breakout star Jamie Lee Curtis. But it just kind of worked. But I wouldn't say that she was like a memorable Laurie Strode. She played it real subtly, which was good because the movie is completely over the top. But when I was about 19, 20 years old, I was already really missing, the life of high school. And because I had dropped out of college, I had nothing going on. So I would watch things like Degrassi Junior High, Degrassi High, and Degrassi The Next Generation, to try to relive by watching it my school years. My friend Meredith knew I was into Degrassi, and she introduced me to this movie called Sleepover. It has Steve Carell in it. It has the lady from 40-Year-Old Virgin. It has the guy from Jeff from Curb Your Enthusiasm. But it's about these girls in ninth grade having a sleepover. And my favorite girl was this girl with red hair. I don't remember the character's name, but I found out that that's actually Scout Taylor Compton. So immediately, she got tons of brownie points, and I immediately started to recognize her allure, because she's easily overshadowed by the iconic Danielle Harris. But she has an interesting story. She grew up in a mortuary. Her dad was a mortician. She grew up around dead people, so it makes her a pretty dark person. She used to hang out inside of a coffin, um, and do unmentionable things inside that coffin. And she ran away from home for 2 weeks and lived at the skate park. And there's something really cool about that. It was right after Sleepover came out, and she couldn't take it anymore. The pressure of, I guess her parents tried to make her into like a Hannah Montana type, like a singer, pop star as well. But she just wanted to act. She's in a lot of movies now. She's even directing now. But she ran away and lived at the skate park for 2 weeks. I mean, that's just really cool to me. So yeah, I'm just at this point in my life right now. That's my hyperfixation right now. I've watched old episodes of the Talk Scary to Me podcast. I've gone back and watched the original episodes. The first episode, which is available on YouTube, you don't have to pay for the Patreon for the early episodes. They got sponsored by Bloody Disgusting at some point, and I guess that's when they started the Patreon with the video. But on the first episode, Danielle Harris breaks her silence. She was actually dating Jonathan Brandis at the time of his suicide. Right before his suicide. And when I was a kid, like 7, 8 years old, my favorite movie was Ladybugs, and my favorite actor was Jonathan Brandis. I also liked him in It, and Sidekicks with Chuck Norris. I wanted to be him so bad when I was a kid. I was like, maybe when I grow up, I can look like him. But no, he was impossibly handsome and a very troubled soul, I guess, from what Danielle Harris was saying. Up until I watched this episode, I believe the official narrative that he killed himself because his career wasn't going the way he wanted it to. But that's just not the case. Apparently, he was completely schizophrenic. And delusional, obsessed with the 27 Club, like of Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix and Kurt Cobain and stuff like that. So he killed himself at 27. She tells a story about how he went into a party a couple weeks before he killed himself, and someone was smoking pot at the party, and he thought he got some kind of contact high. Even 2 weeks later, he still thought he was high on weed from walking into a room and where weed was around, and he thought he was still high from that, but he was probably experiencing psychotic hallucinations and delusions. And that goes to prove, even when you think someone has it all, they can really be suffering inside. I'll leave a link in the description below. The Planet X Fest 2004 DVD has been uploaded to YouTube. And I got to open for my favorite band, Operation Cliff Clavin. Played one song, Anarchy Rocker. And I was put onto this DVD. Featured as the first band on there. And move on to the next game and continue this story. Okay, as I was saying, Planet X Fest 2004. When I hit that stage and I played my song in front of more people than I'd ever played music before in my entire life, that was a peak moment for me. And I thought, my whole life is going to be, I have such a bright future ahead of me. I was in the middle of recording an album in Virginia. And then, you know, within weeks of that high, that magical moment, link in the description below. Everything fell apart. The guy that was recording my album ended up being like a con man. He stole my computer. He stole a bunch of my shit. He stole my money. He stole my family dog and lost it. I moved back down to the Keys with my mom. Was put on antipsychotics for the first time. And everything fell apart in a matter of weeks. And there's a Planet X Fest 2006 DVD. If it ain't cheap, it ain't punk. That will probably never make it to YouTube because it was put out by this shyster named Joe Beal, who copyrights everything, and he'd probably sue somebody if they put it on YouTube and take it down. But I was just thinking about the juxtaposition between Planet X Fest 2004 and Planet X Fest 2006. By Planet X Fest 2006, which I actually played a full set of, I'd ingratiated myself into the scene. I knew everyone from these bands that I worshiped so much. I was living in Bloomington, but I was absolutely miserable and absolutely insane. I was obsessed with going to hell. I was obsessed with the devil. That's all I could think about. It was like there was no world going on around me. I was stuck in my head. Just thinking about the devil all the time. And I was raised atheist, so it was a weird thing for me to become obsessed with. But nonetheless, I became obsessed. I got baptized and stuff and did everything to save my soul. But it's just crazy, you know. I had all these friends, all these romantic interests, pretty much hooking up every weekend. They had this thing, Club Kirkwood, where everyone would get together in this house and have this crazy booty dancing party. On paper, I should have been the happiest I've ever been, but I was the most miserable I've ever been, and I could ever remember being. And it's strange because nowadays, on paper, you could say my life just sucks. I have no social life. I am the medical caretaker of a 16 and 18-year-old cat, and it completely has taken over my entire life. I get no sleep. I'm old. I live in squalor with no running water. But in a strange way, I'm happier than I've ever been. And that's just living proof that it's not what's going on in your outside world. It's not your circumstances. It's not how much money you have. It's years of self-reflection. It's not taking life too seriously. It's appreciating the little things. It's doing what you truly enjoy. I don't care about playing music anymore. I have no interest in it. I like video games, and I've liked video games since I was 3 years old. Probably even younger, because I started going to Showbiz Pizza when I was just an infant. So I've been playing like arcade games since before I even have memories of being alive. That's my true calling. And I'm sharing it with the world. I'm playing them to a very small audience on YouTube, and I'm sharing the lessons I've learned in life, putting it out in the world. Maybe oversharing, but that's how confident I am with where I am right now. And I don't post all the videos I film because I do have a huge problem with not trying to offend people. But I'm trying to get over that. Tonight's broadcast, I guess, was particularly controversial. I guess just talking about the dark side of my personality. But hey, let's be honest. I'm an extremely mentally disturbed individual. And it takes all kinds in this world. I'd love to have a family and kids and career and everything. But that's not the cards I was dealt in life. Because actually, that's just not the right life for me. And I mean, I highly respect people that have managed to find that American dream or whatever. But it was just never the right answer for me. And if you're watching this and that's not the right answer for you, I'm just here to tell you that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, and you can find happiness because I have myself. But you got to know your limitations. And you gotta try your very best to treat people with respect and not try to cause any damage and hurt people and bring more pain into this world. Even if that means, if you're like me and the only way to do that is to basically avoid people altogether. There's nothing wrong with being a lone wolf. There's plenty of them in this world. And, a lot of them are the creative types like me. But, just live one day at a time. Hang in there and take care of yourself and each other. Have a great night. Bye bye.